welcome to my channel The Science World, and if you find this video useful for you, then please like, comment and share with your friends. Also subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get notification of my upcoming videos. Students, in our last video we have discussed about the nutrition in plants and their mode of nutrition, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Since all the living organisms require food for their various life processes such as growth, repair, reproduction and other functions of the body. Okay, and plants prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis and they are called autotrophs, while animals, they get their food either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating other animals, and they are called heterotrophs. We also know that food contains different components such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals and roughage, and these are called nutrients. But these nutrients are present in complex form in the food and they are not directly utilized by the animals. Okay, they must be converted into simpler soluble form to be absorbed by the body for the further utilization. And for this, different animals have different feeding habits. We know that herbivores, carnivores and omnivores, these are the broad categories of animals. Okay, animals, they are heterotrophic, and there are animals like deer, camel and cow that feed only on plants and plant products, and such animals are called herbivores. Animals which feed on flesh of other animals, they are called carnivores, like dog, tiger and lion. They are carnivores. The third category of animals can feed on both, that is plant and animal parts, and they are called omnivores. Man is an omnivore because man eats both, that is plant parts also and animal parts also, that is flesh of the animals. Other examples are bear and crow. Okay, there are some organisms that live on other organisms. Okay, like parasites are organisms which live in or on other living organisms from which they obtain food. Okay, these are the parasites. They live inside or on the body of other living organism, and from there they get their food or they obtain their food. Host, what is host? Host is the plant or animal which harbors a parasite, means host is the animal or organism on which this parasite lives and gets its food. Okay, examples of animal parasites are roundworm, tapeworm, leech and head louse. These are some parasites. Parasites are of two types, that is ectoparasite and endoparasites. Parasites which live outside the body of the host, they are called ectoparasites, while parasites which live inside the body of the host, they are called endoparasites. Let's see some examples of ectoparasites and endoparasites. Look at the picture. Animal ectoparasites and disease vectors. Now vectors means the organism that carries disease, okay, from one animal to another animal. Okay, they are called the vectors, or they spread the disease. Fleas, then biting flies, tick mites, ticks and mites and lice, these are the ectoparasites. Okay, also leech, you may have seen leech, it sucks blood from the body of mammals like cattle and man, and when they come in contact with the body of the host, they attach firmly to the skin surface using a structure called the sucker. And this leech, they suck the blood from the skin which has lot of blood vessels. Okay, so blood is the main food of these creatures. So leeches are also ectoparasites. Head louse are there, this is head lice. Okay, so these are the ectoparasites. Then there are some endoparasites, like this is roundworm, it is found in the intestine. Then this is also tapeworm, this is also found in the intestine. These parasites or these organisms, they take food from the host body. They live inside the body of the host and they get food from the body of that host. Okay, In simple multicellular animals such as hydra, you know hydra? Hydra is a multicellular animal. I will show you picture. And extracellular digestion is takes place in hydra. The body of hydra is hollow. Its body is hollow and it is lined by some glandular cells. Some cells are there inside the body, and these cells secretes enzyme onto the food after it is taken into the body cavity. When food enters in the body cavity, these enzymes are secreted by these cells, glandular cells, and these cells are known as cnidocytes. These are known as cnidocytes. Okay, or we can say these are also known as these are the specialized sting cells. Okay, so this type of digestion, that is the digestion of food, takes place in gastrovascular cavity and not inside the cells. This type of digestion is known as extracellular digestion. Means digestion does not take place inside the cell, but it occurs outside the cell in a cavity. In our body also, in human being, the digestion is extracellular, that is inside the gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so this is extracellular digestion in hydra. What is intracellular digestion? See, once the food particle is taken inside, the cytoplasm surrounding the food releases some enzymes which can digest the food. These enzymes digest the food. What are enzymes? Enzymes are some special kind of substances that are secreted by different glands in our body. Okay, that means specially for the digestion, and these enzymes are helpful in the breaking down of complex food substances. Okay, so these organic chemicals, or we can say special organic chemicals, it help in breaking down the complex food. Okay, once the digestion is completed, the digested food is absorbed by the cytoplasm surrounding the food vacuole, and thus in amoeba, the digestion of food takes place within its cell, which is known as intracellular digestion. When we will discuss about the hydra and amoeba in our next slides, then I will again explain it. So the intracellular digestion means it takes place inside the cell. Okay, and extracellular digestion means it occurs in the outside the cell in a gastrovascular cavity. Okay, so this is about the extracellular and intracellular digestion. Then there are different modes of feeding habits. Okay, there are different modes of feeding habits in different animals, and each animal has certain special features that help it to take its food. Each animal has certain special features that help to take its food inside the body. Okay, so we will read about some of these animals, and we will see that what special features they have for their intake of food. First one is amoeba. In amoeba, special feet called pseudopodia help to procure food. Means pseudopodia helps to catch the food. We'll see it by a diagram. You can see here feeding habit in amoeba. See, this is the unicellular organism. Okay, amoeba is a unicellular organism, and all the 5 steps of nutrition in an amoeba occur within a cell. Inside this cell only all the 5 steps of nutrition they occur. Okay, what are the 5 steps? That is ingestion of food, digestion of food, then absorption, assimilation, and egestion. These all the 5 steps are all the 5 steps are occur inside this cell. Okay, as it is a unicellular organism. Unicellular means single celled organism. Okay, so at the time of ingestion, false feet called pseudopodia. This is pseudopodia. Okay, pseudopodia, it is the plural form of pseudopodium. Singular, it is pseudopodium. This pseudopodia surrounds the food. When this amoeba comes in contact with the food, these pseudopodia are formed. Okay, these structures are formed, and they come closer like this. Okay, and they form a food vacuole. Here you can see food vacuole is formed. Okay, in food vacuole digestive juices are released. Inside this food vacuole, here digestive juices are released, and these digestive juices convert the complex substances present in the food into simpler soluble substances. Okay, this digested food, uh, is then absorbed and assimilated to get the energy and maintain the life processes, and undigested food is thrown out of the cell. How it is thrown outside the cell, we will see in our next slide. Here you can see the residue vacuole. Residue vacuole means the waste or what is left after digestion, it is again thrown outside the cell. Okay, so this, what is endocytosis and exocytosis? When amoeba comes in contact with the food particles, you can see these are the green color, these are the food particles. Okay, so when amoeba comes in contact with the food particles, two pseudopodia would develop and enlarge so as to engulf the food. This food is engulfed. Okay, here you can see food is engulfed, and the pseudopodia meet enclosing the food inside. Here this pseudopodia meet and they enclose the food inside. Okay, this food particle inside the cell of amoeba forms a food vacuole. Now this food vacuole is formed, and this phenomenon is known as endocytosis, forming the food vacuole. Okay, this is known as endocytosis. Okay, then what is exocytosis? After the digestion and absorption, amoeba expels the undigested food. This is undigested food now. Okay, and this process of expelling or removing undigested food from the cell, it is known as exocytosis. Okay, it is exocytosis. Here in this process an opposite phenomenon occurs than that of endocytosis. Means endocytosis and exocytosis are they both are different and opposite processes. Okay, the waste which is to be eliminated is moved to the periphery of the cell from where it is expelled out during the exocytosis process. It is carried to the periphery of the cell and then it is removed from the cell by forming a food vacuole. Here this food vacuole is released into the outside the cell. Okay, so this is endocytosis and exocytosis, and it occurs in amoeba and many other unicellular organisms. Okay, then next we have lizard, frogs and chameleon. Lizard, frog and chameleon, they have long sticky tongue to catch their prey. Here you can see the picture, this frog is there, it is catching the prey, that is insect. Then here it is the picture of chameleon. So lizard, frog and chameleon and the other animals like this, they have sticky tongues to catch their prey. So this is another mode of nutrition. Okay, then birds. Birds of prey like eagle, they have sharp claws and curved beaks to grip the prey and to shred them into pieces. Eagles have sharp claws and curved beak. Here in this picture you can see different types of beaks are there for getting food. Here this first one, I think it is crow, that is generalist, means commonly that bird is having. Okay, then second one you can see insect catching beak is there, then surface skimming beak, then mud probing, then grain eating, coniferous seed eating, probing, filter feeding, then nectar feeding, fruit eating, aerial fishing, pursuit fishing, chiseling, dip netting, scavenging and raptorial. So these are the different types of beaks present in different types of birds according to their food habits, what they eat. Okay, what food they eat. Then next we have butterflies and mosquitoes. These feed on liquid food like nectar and blood. Okay, and houseflies, they also first liquefy their food in with the help of saliva. Houseflies, what they do when they get food, first they release saliva on the food. Okay, and then they liquefy that food, means it becomes liquid type of food, and then they suck it with the help of proboscis. Okay, all these organisms have special sucking organ called as proboscis to suck the liquid food. Butterflies and mosquitoes also have proboscis. You can see in the picture here, this structure is there. This is proboscis. This is butterfly, and here in mosquito you can see this is the proboscis. Okay, so proboscis is a tube like structure or straw like structure through which these organisms or these butterflies and mosquitoes and flies, house flies, they suck their food. Female Anopheles mosquito, it feeds on the blood of mammals. Female Anopheles mosquito feeds on the blood of mammals, while the male mosquito or male Anopheles mosquito, it feeds on the plants, that is fluids from the plant. Whatever liquid material is there in the plants, these male mosquitoes feed on that. Okay. Then next is Hydra. It uses its specialized sting cell. I have told you earlier that cnidocytes are the special sting cells which secrete poison and paralyze the prey, and thereafter tentacles put this paralyzed prey into its body cavity. Okay, so these I will show you the picture of Hydra. Okay, here you can see this. This is the mouth of the Hydra. Then food comes from this mouth, and this is the gastrointestinal cavity or gastrovascular cavity it is. Okay, you can see here, and these are the cells, these cnidocytes, green color cells you can see here. These are the cnidocytes, and these cnidocytes release or secrete poison to paralyze its prey. Means first it paralyzes its prey, and after that the tentacles put this paralyzed prey into the body cavity. Here you can see this paramecium is there. Okay, so in this way it gets its food. These are the tentacles of Hydra. Then next we have snail. A snail has mouth on underside of its head. Okay, here you can see mouth is there, and this contain many tiny teeth. Here you can see this. They are arranged in rows of ribbon like tongue called radula. This is radula inside. Okay, and these snails generally feed on decaying plants. Okay, snails feed on decaying plants. These in the teeth, these tiny teeth, they may be there may be 14,000 teeth in a mouth, in the mouth of a snail. How many? 14,000 teeth. Okay, so the rows of these teeth on a ribbon like tongue, it is called radula. Okay, this is the snail, garden snail you can say. The next we have starfish. It uses its arm to grip the mussels. Mussels is a sea animal covered with black shell. You can see here this black shell is there, but these shells are expelled from the body, and the whatever animal is present there, it is digested by the this starfish. Okay, it gradually pulls its mouth and digests the mussel's soft body. The mussel is a soft body animal. Okay, soft bodied animal, and it is enclosed in a shell. Okay, so this is starfish. Then there are some leaf cutting ants. Okay, they bite off pieces of leaves and carry them to huge underground nests. They have huge underground nest in which they keep their pieces of leaves. Okay, here they chew the leaves and mix them with saliva. They chew the leaves, they mix with the saliva to make a kind of compost, and on this compost fungi grow, which is used as food by the ant. Means first they collect all the leaves, okay, pieces of leaves, then they mix these leaves with the saliva to make a compost, a type of compost, and on this compost fungi grow, which is used as food by the ant. You can see the picture here. This is the leaf cutting ant, and look at the mouth parts of this ant, leafcutter ant. Okay, they are just like scissors to cut the leaves. Then we have spider. A spider weaves a web around it to catch its prey. You can see here, this is the web of a spider. Okay, this spider weaves web around it and then it catches its prey. Many small insects like ants, wasps and then bees. Okay, these small insects, they get attached here in the web, and they, after catching inside this web, they cannot move themselves, or they cannot remove themselves from this web, and then this spider, it eats that insect. Okay, then archerfish spits drop of water at insect on over the hazing twigs. You can see here, insect is there on these leaves, okay, twigs, and it spits drop of water at the insect, and the insect fall off from the twig into the water, and then fish gulps these insects. When this insect, it falls down because of this water, drop of water, then this fish catch the insect and eats it. It gulps this insect. So here we will stop. Thank you for watching my video, and please like, comment and share and subscribe my channel. We will meet again in our next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.